Hey, what's up, witches? It's me, Luna, here for an unboxing, and you might notice my regular altar lights are not on, but that one is. That's a stink bug trap. I was beading the other night, and 3 times I'm looking through this big magnifying light, and these things land in magnified like a fucking Godzilla. Scared the shit out of me. So that's a stink bug trap, and how you make one is I've got a little aluminum tray with water in it, and you put some dishwashing liquid because that breaks the surface tension. And then you put a warm light over it and just let it sit there. And especially at night, if it's in a room with no other lights, the stink bugs will go to where it's warm and then they fall in and drown. And yes, I don't like killing things, and they don't belong in this ecosystem. They are invaders here. So I send them back to be born again in another form, whatever, but not in my house. Okay, anyway. Anyway, that's a little PSA on how to trap them. And here is the deck we're looking at. Starcodes Astro Oracle. This was the result of another Hay House sale. I think I paid like $12 for this or something. A 56 card deck and guidebook. Heather Roan Robbins, artwork by Lucas Lua de Souza. And I had made myself a promise that I'm not buying any more astrological decks because they just, as an astrologer, they just really don't do much for me. But this one I had seen and I was very intrigued. So, look to the sky to see within. Tap into the powerful energy of ancient astrological archetypes and the influential relationships between celestial bodies as they move through the sky and through your life with the Starcodes Astro Oracle. This boldly illustrated 56-card deck delivers messages from the universe and deepens the reader's knowledge of astrological terminology with each draw. Learn the challenges and gifts of each card and choose an action because no matter what your chart or the cards say, the power is truly within you. Okay, $26.99 in the U.S. And, I mean, Hay House has been doing these strategic sales, and they hook me every single frickin' time. Nice interior. Here is the guidebook. It's kind of chunky. The same thing on the back as is on the back of the box, except here is a bio on the artist or the author. Heather Roan Robbins, MTH, a Master of Theology, I assume, is a ceremonialist and practical, intuitive, choice-oriented astrologer and palmist. Interesting, with over 40 years' experience. She has an active online astrology practice, writes a weekly astrological column called Starcodes, and is the author of Moon Wisdom and Everyday Palmistry. Learn more at roanrobbins.com. We'll put that below. Okay. The copyright is 2021. We have an introduction, how to use Starcodes Astro Oracle, orientation to astrology, and then the messages. So we have lenses. And under lenses, we have signs, and then qualities, and then solar activity. Then we have celestial characters, luminaries, planets, asteroids, and lunar nodes. Okay, so this is interesting. The lenses are the signs and the qualities, and the wait. Uh-oh. I'm already kind of... Oh, under the qualities, she has dignified, debilitated, and retrograde. That's confusing because the qualities is another name for the modes. There's the elements and the modes. Sometimes they're called the qualities. Okay. Solar activity. All right, so celestial characters are the luminaries, planets, asteroids, and nodes. The locations are the cardinal points and the houses, and the patterns are supportive aspects, challenging aspects, and changing states. So we've got transits and progressions there. Interesting that there is no just elements and qualities. I imagine that would come up under the signs. I am intrigued. All right, then we have acknowledgments about the author. Let's read about the artist. Lucas Lua de Souza is a tattoo artist currently residing in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. However, he is originally from Brazil. Lucas grew up loving to draw and spent hours sketching on the pages of his school books and during his spare time. That's my son. He was constantly drawing, and all he wanted to do was find his style and perfect it. His life changed forever when his mom gave him his first tattoo gun on his birthday. With the encouragement of family and friends, Lucas pursued tattooing. He has no formal training, nor has he had any apprenticeship in tattooing before. Everything is self-taught, and he has learned along the way for the last few years. But first and foremost, he considers himself an artist. Absolutely. So we have lucaslua.com, and then Instagram is Lucas Souza Tattoo. I will put those below. All right. Let's get to the introduction. Welcome, seekers. Starcodes Astro Oracle invites you to step into astrology's powerful archetypes and let them speak to you and help you navigate this moment. If you are already a pro astrologer, you can simply listen to the cards, but you don't need to know a thing about astrology to use this intuitive deck. The images speak for themselves, and this book offers detailed information and seed concepts to contemplate. As you use these cards, you will become familiar with the key component of this ancient science, the astrological vocabulary. Your understanding of each symbol will naturally deepen, and your readings will become richer. Should you ever want to study astrological charts, you'll already be friends with the terms, concepts, and relationships between signs. And that's by the author. And I like that introduction, that this is kind of a way to, I don't know if you can hear Gilbert singing in the background because everybody just left. All right. You'll be familiar with the terminology by the time you ever decide to study actual astrology. How to use Starcodes Astro Oracle. The deck is divided into 4 categories: lenses, celestial characters. We already looked at that. Okay. Lenses include the signs, qualities, and energetic level through which you see the world. The lens card can expand the aperture through which you view a problem or situation and help you try on a different perspective. Celestial characters are the personalities or archetypes that express themselves in your chart. These cards can describe which archetype is activated by your question and what strengthens you can call upon, and what strengths, you can call upon to take action on the guidance you receive. Locations include the points on your astrological chart like ascendant, descendant, and chart houses, all of which refer to the locations or compartments in your life that are activated in the present moment and in need of attention. Patterns describe the relationships between archetypes and investigate whether your situation is a passing event, instigated from the outside, or part of the progression of your soul's growth. For each reading, when you drop into meditation or dream, you can calm the churning whirlpool of your busy mind and sink beneath the surface into a deep pool of knowing, your intuition, where your soul connects to the oceanic source. Intuition speaks to us all through symbols, imagery, patterns, nuance, and sensation, languages the soul understands. Loud emotions and the relentless hum of daily life can make it hard to hear your intuition. I like the writing, and I like that loud emotions, very evocative. Whenever you care intensely about an outcome, your hopes and fears mingle with your imagination and cloud your intuition. I'm going to read that again. Whenever you care intensely about an outcome, your hopes and fears mingle with your imagination and cloud your intuition. And this is also why you must, when doing spell work, you must be able to completely release. When you visualize the outcome, you put it out there, you have to be able to entirely release it. Give it up, because if you don't release it, you're still holding that energy to you and it can't go out and do its work. So doing spell work, it not just activates the universe to start bringing your outcome to you, but it also can relieve you of a lot of stress, because you've got that, like she says, you're ruminating on things, and your hopes and fears are all in there with your imagination. So a spell can help you release something and free up your mind for more peace in the present moment. So anyway. Side sermon concluded. Divination tools like an oracle deck can offer a compass to guide you through those cloudy feelings. Ask the deck a clear and focused question and listen with an open heart. Align and set an intention. Formulate a clear question. Decide how you will draw your cards. Interpret the result and consult the guidebooks. Interpret reversals / upside down cards. Fine-tune your readings. And then we have the spectrum. Spectrum, a thing I have a thing about, and a thing that I am on. Every sign, aspect, house, planet, and symbolic ingredient in astrology describes a spectrum of expression that runs from its gift through its practical expression to its challenging nature. Okay, that runs from its gift through its practical expression to its challenging nature. I like the way that's described. You don't choose cards, charts, transits, or progressions. They are set in motion as you pull a random card or were put in motion when you were born, but you do have complete choice about where on that spectrum you act. The best medicine for the challenge of an aspect, symbol, or placement can be found in the expression of its gift. Absolutely. For instance, if you pull the Mars card or your natal Mars is activated by transits or progressions, you might feel the challenging aspects of Mars, frustrated, temperamental, even accident-prone. If so, it will help to lean into the gifts of Mars. You can work your muscles until you get tired, come to the rescue and be a hero, or boldly go where you have not gone before and you will feel so much better. To work with the entire spectrum of astrological expression gives you options. Absolutely. And when I was reading charts professionally, it was my job as an astrologer to find the challenges in that chart, and particularly find the ones that were being activated at the moment by transit. And to point out, and the way I would frame it is, you learn how to use these aspects before they use you, or maybe a little bit after they start using you and you're going, what the fuck is happening to me, right? So you find out how it's manifesting. This is the expression that's taken you, through the ringer right now. And then we go to, here are the positive expressions of these particular planets. And you have to use the energy of the challenging aspect to push yourself and make choices. I mean, it is a conscious process. All right. Reading methods: use the deck to get to the heart of the matter, aid a decision, answer complex questions, provide a visual astrological teaching tool, and dialogue with the cards. Then we have spreads. So this, you divide up the deck into its categories. See, I like that. A deck that has clear categories, but then doesn't have a spread that uses those categories kind of confuses me. Not necessarily tarot, but what was the deck I was looking at? It must have been Work Your Light, where it was, here are categories, but then we didn't have something that really took advantage of those separate categories. So it's lens, celestial character, location, pattern. That's the reading. The dial. 1 is ascendant, 2 is Emun Cheli, which is here, 3 is descendant, and 4 is guidance, or the medium Cheli, the midheaven. Okay, cool. Orientation to astrology. So we have a description of what the natal chart is, what the zodiac is, what a sign is, modality. Here we go, cardinal, fixed, mutable. And I think, I do call it modes most often, but it has also been labeled the qualities, elements and qualities. Modes I like better because it tells me, while the elements describe personality traits, the modes describe modes of behavior. All right. And then we have the elements. Then we have polarity, yin yang, houses, changing states, which is the transits, progressions, and then aspects, supportive aspects, and challenging aspects. Okay, then we go right into the lenses and the signs. We have the number, the sign, and a keyword, and a paragraph, and then we have in bold action, and then we have challenge, and then we have gift. So each of those things is delineated through the signs. And let's look at the, okay, so same thing. So when we've got these qualities, which are dignified, debilitated, and retrograde. See, debilitated I've never learned. Dignified. All right, anyway, I'm not going to sidetrack. But same thing. We've got the title, we've got a keyword, and then we've got those categories. Same for the planets, same for everything. I like the consistency there, and I like that it takes us through a spectrum because, yes, astrology is potentials. Now, there are a limited set of potentials with each chart, but within every sign, every house, every planet, every aspect, and all those keywords, there's a spectrum. And other things come into play that will whittle that set of keywords down. But let's go to the cards. I could launch into a total astrological course right now. It does have me thinking, though, because way back when I started a Patreon, I had an astrological course, a basic course available, and maybe I'll put that up. All right. Here's the compass. What do they call it? A compass rose? I can't remember, but it's very cool. It looks like a, it looks like a thing that moves. And what is it? Is it labyrinth? Not labyrinth. It's dark crystal. And that one woman's place, and she's got all those, the planets and stuff. Yeah, love it. I love it. Cardstock's Hay House. It's thick. You ain't getting any getting around. The cards are thick. Right. So we have Aries, act. And on here we have the glyph of the sign. What I don't see, though, which I wish I did, here's a symbol for fire, so it is a fire sign. There's a symbol over here that I don't recognize. What I don't see, it looks like here's sun, maybe Mercury, Venus, Earth, and then here's Mars circled, so we know it's the third planet, the red planet. But I would have liked to see the glyph of Mars. I think I understand why they didn't, because there's planet cards as well. But why miss an opportunity to integrate things? Show the planet that rules it, and then on the planet card, show the signs that it rules. Why not? I too, though, let's go back again. I like how dynamic the ram looks, kind of coming in from the, 3/4 view and the leg up. I mean, it's like, in motion. And then we go to Taurus, parked. There's information there. So here we have the Taurus glyph, and we've got, I guess that's Venus. Would you know that's Venus? It kind of looks like our moon. Mushrooms and flowers, and there's the symbol for earth. And the key word here is cultivate. And then we have Gemini. I love the keyword cross-pollinate. Symbol for air. Again, I wish there were planetary symbols, but I mean, I don't need them, but you would if you're learning. I love the grids and the lines and everything, because astrology is mathematical. It is scientifically based, the positions of the planets. So there's, a calculus, and there's angles and all this geometry. And I like that is shown here. I also just like the idea of cross-pollinating with Gemini. Interesting. Cancer. And the crab, immerse. The symbol of water. Then we have Leo. So good. Shine. 6 is Virgo, digest. Yes. Libra is balance. I like the images. They're beautiful. I love symmetry. Scorpio, investigate. 9 is Sagittarius, expand. I love the bow. And through these first 12 cards of the signs, the number does correspond to like the number of the sign and the number of the house. 10 is Capricorn, achieve. And the colors too, they are certainly pulling from the palette of each of the signs. Although Scorpio, I would have expected to see deep reds and black. Aquarius, collaborate. Yeah. And they're pulling out just kind of the telltale part of the symbol, like the vessels pouring into another. That ring a bell in any way? Temperance card. Here's Pisces, the fishes. Sensitize. Yeah. Then we have dignified, strength. Planets are dignified when they are in their own sign. And they are in exaltation in another sign, which allows them to come to an even fuller expression. Debilitated, the opposite sign of its own sign of rulership, is detriment. the planet is said to be in detriment. And then the opposite planet sign of exaltation, the planet is in its fall, very weak. Discomfort. And then retrograde is review. I like that. The symbol for retro. And we don't have, there aren't glyphs to show whether something is dignified or not. And now we have solar calm, clarify. Ooh, that's pretty. Very detailed. So many little, it's like a spirograph. Tiny, tiny lines coming together. Wow. Solar flares, activate. And now we're into the planet. Sun is source. This is actually the glyph of the sun, a circle with a dot in the middle. The moon is perception. And they have the moon upside down in astrology. It's drawn sideways, showing the phases. I love the rainbow. Mercury, messages. See, that's interesting that we don't have just like the glyph on its own. Certainly have lots of little moons there, but I wish they were more specific, saying here is the actual glyph. Because if you didn't know and you looked at the sun card, how would you know that? How would you know what you didn't know? Messages. I like that it's the caduceus. And here's Venus, beloved. Beautiful. Mars is motion. And I like that it's beloved for Venus, because you can have, you know, a person that is beloved. You can have your stuff that's beloved, and Venus rules both of those things. Jupiter is abundance. Saturn, structure. Yeah. Excellent choice of keywords. Uranus is change. Neptune is vision. And Pluto is rebirth. Thank you for not kicking Pluto out as not being a planet. Will we ever recover? Here's Chiron, heal. Ceres is nurture. Pallas Athena is think. Now, see, I came up when asteroids were not generally used, and I only 10, 15 years ago or so added Chiron in, and I never really got to the place of adding all the goddesses in, you know, which is kind of incredible. So I really think I need another phase for myself personally of learning the asteroids, because I'm looking at Pallas Athena, and you know what Athena is all about, the intellect and thinking, but that's Mercury as well. So I would like to know how they differentiate. Got my curiosity going, and that's always a good thing. Here's Juno, partnership. Oh, the images are very pleasing. They're beautiful. And 32 is Vesta, hearth. And now we've got the south node is the past. The north node is the future. I like the way those mirror each other. I like the way the past is colored in, but the future is not. That there's things to be determined. Clever. The ascendant is entrance. That's a cool keyword, because the ascendant is the beginning point of things, but it's also in a natal chart. The ascendant shows how other people see you, and your ascendant qualities will show up when you make an entrance into a place that is new environment, new people. You will really see the qualities of the ascendant rather than the sun sign. Here's the midheaven, pinnacle. Yeah, now, okay, the pinnacle and the descendant is invitation. That's interesting that we go ascendant midheaven, we go clockwise. Okay, the descendant, and then Imum Cheli root. I wish that they were consistent with terminology, because ascendant, now ascendant, descendant, that's consistent. Midheaven, Imum Cheli, you either say MC, IC, or midheaven, Nadir. If you want to give terminology, that would be cool. So the IC, Imum Cheli, is root. The first house is arrival. Now, the ascendant and the first house are the same thing, by the way. Okay. The ascendant is more like that particular point where that angle lands. The first house is the whole scope that it occupies. Second house, resources. And look at the Aphrodite's apple there with an arrow in it. Interesting. Third house, communication. Didn't we have, hold on. I want to go back to Mercury here. Moon, Mercury messages is what Mercury said. Okay. Fourth house is home, yes. Fifth house, passion of all types. Sixth house, sustainability. I love that. It kind of shows your own ecology of your work ethic and how you go about things and what you do. Seventh house is relationship. Eighth is mystery. I like that too. Yeah, if you got to boil them down to one word. Ninth house is exploration. I like that too. 10th, authority. Look at them climbing the mountain. The 11th is community. The 12th is introspection. Yeah, then we've got the conjunction, alliance. We've got the trine and sextile, symbiosis. So good. Opposition is confrontation, yes. And the square, semi-square, the quincunx, also the inconjunct, is tension. Transits say climate, very interesting, and progressions are journey. That's beautiful because transits talk about things that are happening for a short period of time. Depending on the moon, it's in and out in hours. Pluto can take years, but still it's there for a season and then it moves on. So it's climate or weather. And then journey is progressions, how your chart sort of evolves through time. All right, who's up for a blessing? This I like. We'll see how we get on from here. But so far, so good. I certainly love the keywords, and keywords that's what astrology is. It is all keywords. Kind of like, like tarot, there's lots of keywords, but with tarot, when you go strictly on intuition, you can, zoom in on whatever you happen to notice in a card. With astrology, you do have to stick within the keywords of what you're talking about. I remember getting yelled at by my teacher way back in the beginning in the 80s. And I said, did you ever get a feeling from a chart? She said, I don't get feelings from charts. It's like, she was an Aries, but she was very good. And I learned a lot from her. Okay. Bless you, Annie Hershey. By Air and Fire. May you be purified and charged. Still kind of blowing my mind that there's no actual elements and qualities. I mean, she talks about them in how astrology is structured. And I guess I might want to go back and read that particular part to see if, she says here, I didn't include these because something. Okay. By water and earth. May you be blessed and made whole, and by the sound of the bell, may the spirit awaken. Okay. Let's take a look at that. Of the modes and the elements. Okay. A sign's place within a season, cardinal, fixed, or mutable, is the modality. Cardinal. Each season begins with a brash, innovative cardinal sign full of energy to initiate and motivate. Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn are cardinal signs. In the Northern Hemisphere, Aries brings in spring, Cancer summer, Libra autumn, and Capricorn winter. Reverse the seasons for the Southern Hemisphere. And then it describes each one. Then the elements. Think back to your personal experience of the elements in your life and their spectrum of expression and play, with those metaphors. Fire is warming and enlightening, but can burn in excess, echoing in Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Earth is grounding and supportive, but can be heavy, resonating within Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, and materialistic too. Air is spacious and inspiring, but insubstantial by itself, lifting Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Water flows and runs deep, but drowns us in excess, streaming through Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. I like the way she's done this, fire is echoing. That's weird. Earth is resonating, air is lifting, and water is streaming. Okay. But still, I would really love to see, there's the symbol of the elements, and you know what I don't know? And actually, I believe I do know that there's not... Oh, interesting. Okay, so this is like a backwards C. That's a cardinal sign. There's an F here for fixed. There's an M here for mutable. Cardinal. Now the C is the right way this time. So it's subtle. It's there. It doesn't mention, hey, look in the pictures and this is what you'll find, and there's more information there. So still kind of a missed opportunity. Allies and ancestors, guides and guardians, and the spirit of Annie Hershey, who I am in perpetual gratitude for because she could read a chart. Took me years after she was gone to really learn how to read a chart, but it was because of her that I could. So I welcome you here, and I offer you fresh water and the fire of Azrael, that the spirit of divination can be present here for all of us. And I'm not looking forward to shoveling it. I'm really not. Really, really not. Did you see? No, you didn't see that. This sucker just fucking sprang open. It must not have been pushed down all the way. It went kaboing. That was a little startling. Okay. Once again, not looking forward to it. Please, pleasantly surprise me. I can get my hands around it, as you can see, and oh man, they're stiff. It's really not doable. It's not. Okay, let's just shuffle, and then I will split and pull. I'm going to do this just to get, that initial randomization. Oh, hey, house, you know what I don't do? I don't tag publishers in my videos, and that is a wrongness. Because all this bitching that I do, if I tagged them, maybe they'd see it. Although I did I contacted Hay House about, I think it was about the shipment of these cards, because I had ordered them and I hadn't gotten a notice, and spoke to a lovely young woman. And I said, hey, by the way, I have some input. And I told her about the card stock, and she's like, I'm typing this in right now. I will let them know. We want to know how our customers feel. So if you feel the same way, contact Hay House. Tell them, be nice. And, give them helpful input, and maybe it will help. Okay. All right. Let us, I think we'll start with 3. We'll start with 3 and probably do the 6, So we have the 4th house. We're talking about home in our message for the collective here. And then we have Jupiter. Okay, hold on. Gonna cut them again. If you don't, sometimes they keep splitting in the same place. Then we have Capricorn. Okay. You know what? Let's go for the rest. We have transits. Ooh, I'm glad we got we have houses, we have a sign, we have a planet, we have a thing. I can't remember what that category's called. We have another planet. Jupiter and Uranus, oh my God. Global change, that would be. Okay. Come on. We've got Taurus at the end. Cultivate. Okay, so let's just go with keywords here to begin. Here we are. Home. So this center axis is home and cultivate. And if we look at it for the collective, that means each of us, all of us as a collective, need to be active on our home fronts. We need to shore up what's going on in our own countries. We in the U.S. need to be making sure our democracy continues to exist. And there's just active fight going on around that. So in your own country, whatever's going on there, it's time for you to do, what is the right thing. And then we can look at, just for personally too, home and cultivate, take care of your own stuff, And what I notice as a trend lately is that many people, including us, are doing just a big purge, just the purging of stuff. And one of the things that is symptomatic in the US, I don't know if it's like this in other places, so if you're not in the US, please check in and let me know, is the storage unit thing. We had a storage unit for a couple of years while my mom moved in with us, but very soon, after she passed, within a couple of months, we dumped it and just got rid of everything. So, that obsession with stuff and keeping your stuff and saving your stuff, but it's not really adding anything to your life. In fact, it's taking resources away from you. That needs to be addressed, in my opinion. Anyway, cultivating your home front. Is it something that gives you joy? When you're in your home, are you in your happy place? Is the way your home is set up, is it set up to support your destiny? In a nutshell. Okay, then we've got Jupiter and Capricorn here, abundance and achieve. So abundance, one of the things that I would like to see is the planets labeled as verbs, because that's what they are. I see the planets as the verbs. These signs are the adjectives, and the house is the setting, the background. Adjectives and adverbs. Signs can be adverbs as well. How do you do this thing? In that case, Jupiter would be expand. It is abundance for sure. It's expanded stuff, right? But I like it better as a verb. So we have abundance here and we have achieve. So in our home, we're looking to achieve abundance and not just a surfeit of stuff, not just a pile of so much stuff and that's abundance. No, abundance is a living thing. Abundance is something that brings joy, that brings generosity, that brings sharing, that brings this sense of enough, so that you can be generous and joyful and, and share. Expansive. Okay. So achieve over here talks about taking those steps, doing what we have to do. And it's interesting because I want to go start talking about Saturn here, but I'm not going to. One of the things that doesn't happen in a natal chart is, like, planets don't exist in a vacuum. A planet must be in a sign. So you never get just that raw energy of that sign. The closest you get to it is when the sign is in its own, or the planet is in its own rulership. It's in the sign of its own rulership, and even more so in its own house. Like it would be Aries or Mars and Aries in the first house. Then you'd really feel that pure Mars energy, especially if it wasn't aspected. But most of the time, for the rest of us, a planet in a sign is not that pure energy. The sign alters it. It affects it, one way or the other. It either supports it or it kind of suppresses it. Jupiter in Capricorn would struggle. it would say that we need to expand within a structure. Capricorn, and look at the sign is a verb, and this is a noun. Okay, wow. See, I would say expand within a structure, but achieve abundance. You have to have a plan to go about that, right? And we will read the book, but I'm going straight off the cuff here. Then we have transits and change. Climate and change. Oh, wow. Holy shit, you guys, literally climate change. What do we have to do about climate change? So now this whole reading has expanded because of Jupiter. Home is planet Earth. Jupiter is the abundance that is here to sustain and nurture us all. And then Capricorn, achievement is what has kind of put us into climate change here, that we're so hell-bent on achieving personal abundance that we have raped and pillaged and plundered and used and sucked up resources, and what we've given back is plastic. So now we have climate change to deal with. Holy shit. And Uranus, what kind of change is Uranus? Disruptive, explosive, unexpected. And at the bottom we have Taurus, cultivate. Taurus, the first earth sign. Taurus ruled by Venus. Taurus that says love your mother. Plant things, grow trees. Oh my God. Well, I'm fucking impressed, you guys. I am very impressed with this deck. Other astrological decks, it's like, okay, kind of astrology, but this one I can read. And it also forces me to break things down into their parts, and I like that too. All right, fourth house, home. If your chart were a village map, the fourth house would be your home base. Our early home life impacts our sense of sanctuary and how we bring things to conclusion. Yes, it's a house of endings. Action, come home and make it a sanctuary. Create a place to renew and to live an intimate, authentic life. Home is an emotional space more than a physical address, but both matter. In the practical realm, it may be time to renovate, reorganize, or move in the physical realm, or to negotiate boundaries with a roommate. Create a home that feels safe and renewing at the end of the day, where you are truly off stage so you can drop your guard and refill your wells. The fourth house also speaks of existential homesickness. Oh my God. So being depressed as a very small child, the way I experienced it from a very small child, like 6 years old, through my early 30s, was as homesickness. Incredible. Of a longing for a home you've never had. If you don't have a map from childhood to create sanctuary, make one. Be ready to do the next layer of therapy or tend to some work around family karma. Think about how you would like to have been parented rather than how you were parented, and use that as a model for self-care. Oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. Yes, I chose Mr. Rogers to be my father, to replace the one that was an adult child. And yes, it is such valuable work. In the spiritual realm, build or visualize a meditation place, a portable sanctuary that can be home to your spiritual practice. Explore the quiet depths of your meditation. Drop down to your hara, to your center of gravity. That's an energy center right below your navel. Renew your connection to the earth beneath, the sky above, the spirit within. If you're asking about a project, so I like it's here, in the practical realm, and then the existential stuff in the spiritual realm. And if you're asking about a project, check that it is well situated. Make sure the people involved feel safe and have a healthy work-life balance. On all these levels, develop a healthy approach to bring a project to conclusion. Know when to stop. The challenge is let your home be a sanctuary that helps you prepare to deal with the world, not a place in which you hide from the world. Amen. Gift, a sanctuary within your soul and safe surroundings in which to renew, allow you to regenerate, find your center, and greet the world afresh. Just that was incredible. All right, let's go to Jupiter. I might not read through all of every one of these. Jupiter symbolizes how we expand our world through education. So immediately we have that expansion. Through education, law, philosophy, travel, abundance, and an expansive spirit. Jupiter, the traditional ruler of Sagittarius and Pisces, is a huge gas giant. 2.5 times the volume of all the other planets put together. It takes 12 years to circle the zodiac, spending roughly 1 year in each sign. Named for the ruler of all the gods and surrounded by 79 known moons. Jupiter never does anything in small proportions. Action is think bigger. This scenario requires you to be expansive and forgiving. See, I wish it was expand instead of abundance. Deal with it in a spacious, curious, fair, and philosophical way. Think globally. Bring in contributions from all around the world. Consider traveling physically or traveling with your senses by listening to music from a less familiar culture or tasting their food. This is all great stuff. Jupiter's energy needs a big room and an audience, but can overshadow important people in more intimate circumstances. Watch that your expansive capacity does not cramp the experimentation of beginners or crowd-beloved introverts. Wow. Challenge. Jupiter can bring too much of a good thing or leave people feeling overwhelmed. I never really thought about Jupiter as far as overwhelm goes. Yeah. Watch out for magical thinking and a Pollyanna avoidance of problems because Jupiter's positive and optimistic. Gift. Give and you shall receive. Jupiter calls you to expand your worldview, so reach out and feel at one with the whole universe. Yeah. Capricorn. Achieve. Capricorn asks us to dive deep into the sea of collective consciousness to find a worthy dream and then work on it and walk it to the mountaintops. Capricorn, the cardinal earth sign, so yeah, she does say, is ruled by Saturn. Its symbol is a mergoat, half sea creature, half mountain goat, and the sign is connected to our bones and knees, the equipment we use to climb stairs and achieve our goals. The sun shines in Capricorn December 21st through January 20th. Okay, hold up. Mergoat, half sea creature, half mountain goat. The penny just dropped on this because I've always just been like, what the fuck is a sea goat? It's something that can go from the depths to the heights. And that's Capricorn. If it takes me my entire life, one step at a time. Perfect. This situation for action here needs a good and healthy structure, foundations upon which you can solidly build. So yes, I would rather have seen structure here and expand here. Expand your structure. Expand, but keep it structured. So the meaning comes through when you read. I just wish it was on the card. Capricorn encourages you to practice skills, develop spiritual disciplines, lead rather than dictate. Learn to control yourself, not others. Okay. Challenge. Keep an eye on the power dynamics. Without integrity, Capricorn ambition can enable gross manipulation. Control a tendency to become controlling or manipulative when feeling anxious. Okay. Gift. Wisdom grown over time and through mature experiences. The gift of Capricorn. Yes. As is connection to the spiritual traditions and disciplines that offer a sound foundation for our evolution. Transits say, this is climate. The planets are always moving through time and space, always spinning around us. When those planets form geometric relationships to one another, they create transits, the astrological weather conditions of the day that affect us all. When a moving planet forms a geometric relationship to a planet in your natal chart, that transiting planet can act like a guest who enters your house, sits in your kitchen, or sprawls in your living room. It activates that part of your existence. If that transiting planet talks to your Mars, it activates your warrior nature and fight or flight response. If it talks to your moon, it initiates a story centered around your home, your family, and how you nurture yourself. I love how this woman writes. Now, did it say, yeah. She writes an astrological column called Starcodes and wrote Moon Wisdom and Everyday Palmistry. I would be very inclined to purchase one of her books because her writing is so clear. She uses great symbol and metaphor to convey the meaning, and chef's kiss. Action. This situation is in flux and the surrounding conditions are changing. Stay alert. There's no volume control on this card's energy. Transits may trigger a small change in the personnel around you, or it could signal a shooting star that blazes across your life and turns your direction entirely. You have choices, though. Ask for grace and guidance when responding to the changing circumstances. Challenge is wild cards are in play. You are not in control of who or what now brushes your life, and that can be scary. The gift is, even though life is an ever-moving circus and you do not control the people and events transiting your life, know that you are in complete control of your response to the transit. Choose wisely. I love this so much. Wild cards are in play. So with climate, things are changing to the point where weather prediction is just like, it's come down to very close to the time. The long-term models are breaking down because things are in such flux. So learn to surf, maybe literally. Learn to be comfortable with things changing and shifting on a dime. Then we have Uranus, change. Uranus acts like a cosmic clutch. It takes us out of one gear and after some chaos, shifts us into a new one. Change is a good verb on this card because that's what you have to do, is change when Uranus is activating your chart. Uranus is the modern co-ruler of Aquarius and takes 84 years to round the zodiac. Jupiter is the other. No, Jupiter's Pisces. Saturn is the other ruler, sorry. Uranus was the first planet we discovered once the telescope broke the boundary of our known solar system and coincided with the Industrial Revolution, when many technical and cultural assumptions broke apart. And the technology itself is ruled by Uranus. It's innovative change. It embodies difference and eccentricity as it rotates in the opposite direction of most other planets and at an approximate right angle to them, with one pole pointing toward the sun. It's the rebel. It has to do things differently. The action, surprise or be surprised. Wow. Be ready to shift gears. It's time to experiment and try a fresh approach or a new road entirely. If your life were a garden, now would be the time to scatter handfuls of diverse seeds, water them all, see what grows robustly, and weed the rest later. I love that concept. If the environment is changing, that you don't know exactly quite what's going to land, you just throw out a bunch of different seeds and see which one takes root. Wonderful. Urgent anxiety can be a symptom of Uranian restlessness. Uranus conjuncts my sun. So rather than just flailing about, look for the root cause and ask what change would actually solve the problem. What looks like a disaster may bring a wild opportunity. If you are thrown a sudden or shocking change, assume that you are being tossed out of the nest into a potentially heroic journey. Chaos can be an important catalyst, an unnerving moment caught between forms. That moment when the forms break apart. The discomfort allows and propels you to transform. Become your most authentic, eccentric self. You are just what is needed. Uranus rules the term unique. Unique means only one. Uranus also encourages technical upgrades and a cutting-edge approach, whether that means acquiring new equipment or new skills, like solar or getting yourself a generator or, The challenge, Uranus electrifies. It may feel like your finger is stuck in an electrical socket. You are anxious to change, but you can spin your wheels until you shift into the new gear. And the gift is prepare for an evolutionary leap. Yes, evolutionary. I do believe that it was around the time of the discovery of Uranus. No, I think that was after, that the theory of evolution was proposed. Shocking circumstances can force you to engage gifts you didn't know you had and help you transform. You are not those external attributes in transformation. You will not dissolve. A caterpillar is still internally the same creature once it becomes a butterfly. And then Taurus. Oh my God, this deck is exceeding my expectations. I had high expectations. I was already feeling positive about it when I bought it. And it is far exceeding. I am thrilled. Cultivate. Taurus asks you to hold still, dig in, grow roots, and strengthen over time. So when this climate change is happening and things are in such flux, we expand within structure, we care for our home, and we put roots down, and the roots are the things that will help us survive. For instance, when a big thunderstorm knocks the power out, or a hurricane comes, or a freak ice storm in the south takes down the grid. Right? Okay. Manifest in a practical way. Signified by a bull standing in its field, Taurus rules the neck and voice. Its purpose is to bring life into matter through growing wildflowers and crops, through our muscular strength and the sensual potential of our bodies, and through the solidness of our material resources. The sun shines here April 21st to May 20th. Action. Work with the metaphor of gardening. Now see, in this sign, she did not say it's a fixed earth sign. All right, but we do have that. Anyway, work with the metaphor of gardening. Plow the ground, plant the seeds, nurture the crops with water and fertilizer, and protect those crops from predation. Grow roots rather than travel. Investigate, and here, this is kind of Jupiter is the travel bug, but Capricorn restricts. It provides structure, and it restricts that expansion to home. Ooh, this is interesting. So where the abundance needs to really happen is in the home. This is all around your home front and expanded within your own, town, country, whatever, politically. All right. Investigate what concrete form your project should take and the next practical steps in that direction. Appreciate the senses. Notice what you see, smell, feel, hear, and taste. Use the senses to be in the present moment and let time flow by. Cuddle. Feed. Oh. Yeah, man. And when you nurture this in the midst of this, to be able to nurture this and have a place to go where you feel grounded and rooted and can weather the upheaval. I love cuddle, feed. In a relationship, listen to both the signals of body chemistry and the practicalities of your life to give it a fertile field. Cultivate your garden. Like a slowly growing flower basking in the sun, find contentment in this moment. Explore the roots of the situation. Ask what feeds this idea or what feeds your soul. If you're feeling pushed about, sit, hold still, grow roots, and let the storm pass over you. Don't hurry. Play the long game as you plant and tend your crops. And the more you have, stability baked into your system in your home front, the more you will be able to sit still if things are upset and not be, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. All right. Challenge. Taurus excess can lead you to mistake stubbornness for strength. Yes, stubbornness is another downside. Or look for spiritual and emotional answers in the material world. There will never be enough stuff to fill an emotional void. Sensuality is a Taurus gift, but sex alone will not fulfill a desire for love. Clarify your hunger. Thank you, Heather Roan Robbins. She's amazing. Clarify your hunger. That, I want to put that someplace, because when you're having cravings and you're filling it with food, it's like, what are you really craving? What really is the hunger? Everything, and that plays back into all of this. Everything that surrounds you, this is the gift. Everything that surrounds you is made up of matter, and the word matter comes from the Latin word mater, or mother. Taurus connects you to the sacred earth mother, Gaia herself, the physical vessel who holds spirit in the body, in the plants, and in the earth beneath us. We got to take care of our home, everybody. We've got to, I don't know how much louder things can get on the front of climate change. Do they need to get louder? Those that know, we're awake. We're suffering because of it. So do what you can to put yourself not in, a really horrible, vulnerable place, and then do what you can to support the broader story. Wow. Oh my God. I am frickin' flippin' out. It's fucking amazing. So what do you think? Are you tempted? If you are, get this deck. If you don't know astrology, get this deck. If you do know astrology, get this deck. I mean, I unreservedly recommend it. So let's engage below. Drop a comment down there and hit the like button on your way there. And if you're not subscribed, please do. I hope to be doing live streams again soon. It's just every time that specific time comes up, my body is doing something that makes it impossible. And, you know, that's the thing, is I'm trying to hit a particular time frame. Unboxings I can do when I don't feel like crap. So I'll try. Until I see you one way or another, this is Luna. Blessed be.